It's Friday night here in Clayton, and the Clovers are still seeking their first home win of the season in their inaugural season with the Old North State League. Tonight, the Clovers will be taking on the River City Skippers, who open their season tonight. Starting the season at 1-3, the Clovers have had trouble connecting on the bats over the past few nights, but look to change that with a few key additions in their roster. A notable one, batting cleanup tonight, is Mike Snyder. I got to sit down and talk with the general manager, Louis DePierolis, about Snyder, where he described him as an outright game changer. Back in the CCL League, Snyder won Player of the Year 2 out of his 3 years in the league, hitting an astonishing 53 home runs during that time frame. The Clovers have had no trouble getting on base, but have had trouble bringing these runners home. With Snyder, that staff is hoping that will start to change. It's still early in a long summer season for the Clovers, and spirits are higher than ever as players start to wrap up their collegiate season and make their way down here to Clayton. On the other side, the Skippers will be opening their season tonight, and it'll be interesting to see how their early chemistry may play into their strategy. Don't go anywhere. We're going to be taking a short break. When we come back, we will be covering the lineups of both sides. You are watching Clayton Clovers Baseball. John Loomis here on the call with you at East Clayton Community Park, voice of the Clovers. The Clovers still looking to get that first home win in their first season here with the Old North State League. Meanwhile, the River City Skippers, this is their first game of the season, so not only are they looking for their first win, they're looking to start off their season strong. Now, starting off with the River City Skippers lineup. Starting off with the number 6 shortstop, Colby Ott, followed by second baseman Drew Nagel, first baseman Rowan Hudson, designated hitter Jack Matusek, right fielder Ethan Robinson, catcher Juan Ormonte, third baser Jalen Greenridge, left field Cole Wagner, center field Hunter Sherman, and then finally on the mound for them will be Matthew Lovett. Now, moving to the Clovers starting lineup, they're going to have out in left field Zach Lyon, Pete Maldonado is catcher, Davey Morgan on third base, Mike Snyder on second, Jackson Dunlap on first, Jackson Anderson will be their designated hitter, Zach Zotolski will be their shortstop, followed by Paxton Huff at center field, and Seth Bullock at right field. Now, Mike Snyder is one of those exciting players here for the Clovers that we'll get to, but Colby Ott is now stepping up to the plate, a sophomore from Jefferson College, a Missouri native. The Clovers have Bradley Wilborn on the mound to start off for tonight. That first ball is going to be hit into play right to left field, and that's going to be a lead-off single for Caleb Ott and the Skippers as they will get things started early. Moving on to Drew Nagel, second baseman, number 18 from High Point University. He's one of those Texas natives that we've talked about throughout this season. Texans coming up, making their way into the Old North State League. Wilborn looking now for a starter. Starting stronger than that first at bat as pitch number 1 comes in for a ball. Clovers all season have played better with their backs against the wall as opposed to getting out ahead early. That's a strong swing and a miss for strike 1 for Nagel. Field of Dreams Day here in Clayton. So we have the Clayton Clovers Little League team here with us. And that's going to come in for strike 2. Now a 1-2 count as Wilborn looks for the first strikeout of the night. It's a windy night here in Clayton as the Friday night lights shine down. He's going to check on Ott at first base. He's safe though. Wind blowing into the park, so it may be a little more difficult for those balls to get deep. Encouragement's coming from the Skipper's dugout as that ball's inside for now an even count of 2-2. Nagel asks for the count. Looking at his options at first base. Won't take it. Now it's ball number 3. The Little Leaguer is jumping in with the chirping. So we get our first full count of the night. A fairly common occurrence here at East Clayton Community Park. And he is going to swing and miss at that one. Strike out number 1 for Wilborn. They'll throw back to Ott, but he will be safe at first. That's going to be out number 1. A great way to bounce back from that leadoff single. Up next now is Rowan Hudson, first baseman out of Chowan University, a Crystal River, Florida native. A lot of Chowan University athletes here, both on Clayton and at some of their visiting teams. So they'll continue to check on Ott. They're not going to let him get away easy. And that one's going to come down the middle for strike one on Hudson's first pitch of the night. This is Wilborn's second appearance now for the Clovers. Had himself a pretty strong showing in game 2. Had a handful of strikeouts in his relief pitching. They're going to call that foul.
Jackson Dunlap for out number 2. With the runner at second with 2 outs for the designated hitter now, a sophomore from Kirkwood, Missouri, by way of Jefferson College, number 23, Jack Matusik. Correction, foul ball.
Having to send some corrections out. Foul ball, so that is strike number 2. Little leaguers getting excited. Had to let them know to get the fingers from outside of the fence for their own safety. And runner's going to take off. That ball's going to get hit deep into left field. That's going to be a fair ball. Now runner is rounding third, coming home. There will be no throw. That's going to be an RBI double for Hudson as Colby Ott's going to make it home. The Skippers take an early lead now. Up 1-0, 1 out on the board. That ball was placed just perfectly down the left-hand side. Far enough that you really couldn't reach it no matter what you did. Right into the corner. Now, Jack Matusek, number 23, the designated hitter out of Jefferson College, steps up to the plate with a runner in scoring position. That's going to come in for strike number 1. Hudson seeing how far he can push Wilborn off that second base. Now an even count at 1-1. This is one of the hotter starts we've seen from any of the teams here at East Clayton Community Park. Looking usually at a rather slow start. Last game was a pitcher's duel all the way through. First run of the night not coming in until the 7th inning. We made it through 7 innings in just under an hour, which is an insanely fast pace. These pitchers were not getting a lot of strikeouts, but forcing a lot of hits. As that ball is hitting to right field, Paxton Huff is chasing it. Seth Bullock chasing it. That's going to hit the fence. And another runner is going to round third, come all the way home without contest. That is the second RBI double in a row now for the Skippers as Jack Matusek makes his way to second base. Now a 2-0 lead for the Skippers. Number 11, Ethan Robinson stepping up now, the right fielder for the Skippers out of Chowan University, originally from North Chesterfield, Virginia. One of the interesting things about this lineup that I'm noticing in particular is that they only have one listed player on their roster whose hometown is in North Carolina, which is rather unusual for these teams in the old North State League here based in North Carolina. As that ball is hit towards center field, runner will stop at third. They'll now have runners on the corners. That is 3 hits in a row now for the Skippers. You got to think a meeting's going to be coming soon here for Bradley Wilborn. And sure enough, here it is. Catcher and pitching coach making their way out now. Skippers have started off at a hot streak, having 4 of their 5 batters make it onto base through hits. Only 1 batter's been struck out so far. It's going to be Juan Omonte up next for the Skippers. Catcher out of Wheeling University. He's a sophomore, number 27. Now, Juan Omonte does not have his hometown listed on the official roster. He's going to give his respects to the ump and the catcher. But unless he is also from North Carolina, there is only 1 North Carolina native on this Skippers roster, which, as I was saying earlier, very interesting. That ball is going to get hit foul Going to bring the count up to 0-1. He'll keep Bradley Wilborn on the mound. It's Hunter Sherman's. Actually, no, it's the pitcher, Matthew Lovett from Richlands, North Carolina, who is the one North Carolina native that I know of. 8 of the 9 batters listed as hometowns from out of state. As they're going to call that one fair and in play. Make that another single for the Skippers. Now suddenly bases are loaded for the Skippers with just 1 out on the board. The Clovers looking to get out of this top of the first as quick as possible now, so they can have their chance of striking back. First pitch will come in for a ball, 1-0 count. Be curious to see if any of their coaches have any strong Missouri backgrounds, as there are 4 Missouri players on the roster, not even just on the roster, but on the starting lineup tonight. It's going to come in for strike number 2, now a 1-2 count. One of the interesting things we see in most of the Clovers games here so far, in fact, every single home game has been an opener for at least one of the teams. Obviously, the first game being the opener for the Clovers, and that's going to be strike number 3. Now Bradley Wilborn's second strikeout of the night. Now the left fielder, Cole Wagner, is going to step up from Rockhurst University. So opening night was the opener for the Clovers and the Wingmen. Then every game thus far at home has been the opening game for the visiting sides. A lot of times we see them use these same rosters. Now that's going to come down, and they're going to tag him out at second. That's going to go ahead and end the inning for the Clovers. They will leave 3 on the board. Skippers up 2-0 going into the bottom of the first. Don't go anywhere. You are watching Clayton Clovers baseball.
Did Davey get that?
We're in the bottom of the first here at East Clayton Community Park, and the Clovers find themselves down in an early hole, down 2-0, after quite a few hits by the Skippers. Really an impressive showing, some of the deeper balls we've seen throughout the season. Now it's going to be Zach Lyon leading off, number 7, the left fielder for the Clovers. He also played last night. His debut was out in Fayetteville for the Clovers' sole win of the season so far. On the mound for the Skippers, Matthew Lovett, a freshman out of Chowan University, originally from Richlands, North Carolina. Hard swing and miss for strike one. Matthew Lovett had 5 2/3 innings pitched in his freshman year at Chowan University with 7 strikeouts and 8 walks. And that's going to be a swing and a miss for strike number 2 against Zach Lyon. That was a fantastic take by Zach to even up the count now at 2-2. Clovers have had some trouble with their eyes. Not necessarily swinging at hard balls, but oftentimes taking fastballs down the middle for strikes. As that one's up in the corner, and we have the second full count of the night. I like to keep track of them because through the first 2 games, we had almost 25 full counts. Absolute patience from both sides of the bat. And he's going to swing it out one for strike 3. That's going to be Matthew Lovett's first strikeout of the night and of the season. That's going to be Peter Maldonado up next for the Clovers. He'll be playing at catcher tonight, which is usually he's at the designated hitter slot for the Clovers. That's just outside, but they'll call it strike 1. Maldonado has had a fantastic season at the designated hitter slot. I'm personally very excited to see how he does in the catcher slot. Clovers have been rotating through 2 or 3 catchers just to make sure that they are all rested up. It can be hard on the body at catcher. Alex Levesque was showing that as he would throw himself at just about any foul ball. As that is hitting the play to the shortstop, they're going to throw that to first for an easy out number 2. And quickly the Clovers find themselves down 2. It's going to be Davey Morgan up next. A familiar name for Clovers fans. Was an absolute star last year for the Clovers. Helped lead them to the CCL title. That ball is going to be hit towards left center field. And they'll make that catch. A quick out is going to end the first inning for the Clovers. We are heading to the top of the second. Don't go anywhere. You are watching Clayton Clovers baseball. Welcome back into Clayton. We are in the top of the second inning. Clovers finding themselves down 2-0. Clovers had a chance to respond, but found themselves in a 1-2-3 inning for the Skippers. Sends the bats right back to the Skippers, who made it through 8 of their 9 batters up last inning. They had a lot of people reach base. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 batters reach base. 2 RBI doubles and a handful of singles. That being said, Bradley Wilborn did respond well with 2 strikeouts. And then finally had a ball fall just behind second base that tagged out that second baseman. So the Clovers are looking now to continue that efficiency they found at the end of the first inning. But that being said, Hunter Sherman's going to go ahead and step up now for the Skippers, the sole batter who has not stepped up to the plate yet. Number 12, he's their center fielder. And Bradley Wilborn now looking to make an impact here on this second inning. As that first one's going to come right down the middle for strike number 1. No 1 count now. It was a good take by Hunter Sherman. The ball must have been just a little high as it comes in as ball number 1. Now an even 1-1 count for Bradley Wilborn. That ball's going to get hit towards right center field, but the Clovers will be under it. And Seth Bullock, number 12, makes the catch for a lead-off out for the Clovers, something they desperately needed after how last inning started. Now Caleb Ott will step back up. 1 for 1 on the day. Hit a lead-off single on the very first pitch. That's going to come low into the dirt for ball number 1. Bradley Wilborn looking for revenge now. They had a quick meeting with him after the second double RBI where they must have instilled some confidence in him, because from that point on, no runs were scored, and he started pushing that ball. It's now a 1-1 count, 1 out, nobody on bases. And that's going to be a good low strike. Makes it a 1-2 count now for Bradley Wilborn. And it's Colby Ott looking to repeat some of that success he found last inning, as he'll hit it into right field. Seth Bullock makes the dive for it, but will not catch it. Colby Ott's going to have himself a standing double. Now 2 for 2 on the day. Great bounce back by Colby Ott after finding himself down in the count. Now Drew Nagel stepping back up. Seth Bullock thought he was under the ball there. Found himself not quite in the right position. It's a fantastic hustle, though. Ball was just a few inches from being caught. And that fouled off something. Sounded like it made contact with one of the players' gears, but nobody seemed to flinch or wince. Flinch or wince, my goodness. Nonetheless, the count will be 1-1. 1 out. Now a runner in scoring position at second. Runner's going to go for it. That throw is going to be down to third. Not going to be in time. Now a 2-1 count. And that's going to come in to even the count at 2-2. Bradley Wilborn now has got to be careful with that runner on third. Deep flying ball can bring that runner home on tag. That's going to be a good swing and miss for strike 3. Now Bradley Wilborn's third strikeout of the night. Now with just 1 out to go, that runner on third base got a lot more pressure to bring him home, as a deep fly ball is not going to cut it. A ground out's not going to cut it. And Rowan Hudson now stepping up to the plate. Takes strike number 1. That was actually Drew Nagel's second strikeout of the night. Be interesting to see how he adjusts throughout the night, as Bradley Wilborn seems to have his number. And that's going to be a hard swing and a miss for strike number 2. Rowan, responsible for the first RBI of the night, had a strong double. Clearly a difference maker for the Skippers early on. And that's going to be just a bit high for ball number 1. It was a good take by Rowan. I think a lot of players would have swung at that one. And that one's going to be fouled deep to the right side, way out of play. Count will remain 1-2. Now 2 outs on the board. Skippers have started off strong, looking to keep that alive, scoring in consecutive innings. That ball is going to be low. Maldonado's got it, though. No one will advance. Now a 2-2 count. 2 outs for the Clovers. An out here would be huge as it puts the Clovers back on base with no damage done this inning. That's going to be just outside, and we are in for our third full count of the night. Now the Clovers are looking to shut this inning down. A hard swing and a miss for strike 3, and the Clovers are moving to the bottom of the second. No damage done here in the second. Don't go anywhere. You are watching Clayton Clovers baseball. Welcome back into Clayton, North Carolina, where Mike Snyder is now stepping up to the plate, number 5, taking over that mantle for the Clovers. This is an exciting player from Indiana Tech, originally from Fort Wayne. First ball is going to be fouled straight back. He is a senior at Indiana Tech. Over the course of his career, had 120 games played, 398 at-bats with 128 hits. This kid absolutely raked at his time in college. As that ball is going to hit ground towards the third baseman to grab it, they'll throw it to first, and he'll have contact with the base. That's going to be out number 1. Clovers had a 1-2-3 inning, so they're looking to change that pace.
Your first baseman from Carolina University, number 32, Jackson Dunlap.
Jackson Dunlap, a Clayton native, always has himself a strong fan base here. That's coming for strike number 1. Jackson Dunlap has started every game so far for the Clovers, and every game he proves why.
Everybody clap your hands.
As a strong first baseman, he's made some spectacular plays in the field and is not bad at batting either. That's going to come in for strike number 2. Now a 1-2 count. The Clovers tend to spend the time of figuring out pitchers in those first few innings. Then as soon as that pitcher is figured out, they tend to start raking in the hits. Now a 2-2 count. Jackson's going to foul that one right and way out of play. Jackson Dunlap is also one of those Chowan University athletes that we have seen so much of so far here in the Old North State League. Him and Bradley Wilborn. That's going to be a hard swing and miss for strike 3. As Matthew Lovett is going to get his second strikeout of the night. Number 14 now stepping up, Jackson Anderson from Mount Olive, originally from Bunn, North Carolina, can double as a first baseman or as a catcher. Clovers will elect to have him as designated hitter. That's going to come in for ball number 1. 2 quick outs on the board now for the Clovers. Jackson Anderson brought in almost entirely to rake. That's going to come in for strike number 1, now a 1-1 count. Anderson's got a lot of power behind him. Not that he'll get to show it off, though, as he gets hit on the shoulder, taking it like a champ, and he's going to jog on down to first base. So he will be the first base runner for the Clovers tonight. Now Zach Zoltowski, a shortstop, number 6. Another Mount Olive University athlete. Oftentimes, these summer leagues, you'll see at least 2 or 3 guys from the same school, as they already have chemistry they've worked on all year leading up to it. That comes right down the middle for strike 1. One of the interesting things is you'll see with a lot of these opening night lineups for teams such as the Skippers, is they'll usually have 7 or 8 guys between 2 universities. That's going to get hit right towards the pitcher. He's going to underhand toss to the first baseman, who actually almost drops it. But that's going to be a quick out, number 3. Skippers clearly employing this strategy between Jefferson College and Chowan University athletes to try and have some of that chemistry. And we've seen that so far on the field. They are up next to bat. Don't go anywhere. You are watching Clayton Clovers Baseball. Welcome back into Clayton, North Carolina. Bradley Wilborn still on the mound for the Clovers in his 3rd inning of work. Wilborn, one of those Chowan University athletes, playing against a lot of his teammates. I wonder if some of that's got some success. Some of that success has to do with that. In fact, Rowan Hudson, who got things started with that double RBI, is also Chowan University, followed up by Ethan Robinson, who had a single, also Chowan University. A lot of the same guys they've been practicing against. Jack Matusek stepping up to the plate first. The designated hitter started off strong with a double RBI himself. Takes strike number 1. Clovers had a 4-batter inning last inning, which was significantly better than the first time round, as Wilborn started to find his grounding a little bit here at East Clayton Community Park. Finishing out the inning with 2 straight strikeouts. He's had 4 on the night. It's now an 0-2 count. And that's going to get hit into center field. But it will be caught by the center fielder, Paxton Huff. And that's going to be a quick out, number 1 for the Clovers.
One out in the inning brings up the right fielder now, number 11, Ethan Robinson.
Ethan Robinson, one of those Chowan University students, originally from North Chesterfield, Virginia. He is the right fielder today for the Skippers on their opening night. Currently 1 for 1 on the night so far with a single. That's going to come right down the middle for strike one. Wilborn is really starting to find his groove after that start. At the end of the day, a 2-0 deficit is very manageable. You just got to get that first run on the board. That's going to get by the catcher, but nobody is on base, so nobody will advance. 1-1 count. Some chirping from the guest dugout. That's going to be inside. Ball number 2. Clovers' defense has seen a pretty significant improvement since the first few games, as they've started to put the pieces together in the field. Now they're just waiting for their bats to connect. Had no problem with it in Fayetteville, scoring 10 runs against the hosting Shoots, but have not found that same luck here at East Clayton Community Park. 2-2 count now, 1 out on the board. That's going to get hit right towards Wilborn. He's going to leisurely jog over, take a low toss to Jackson Dunlap, but Jackson Dunlap will take it. That's going to be out number 2. Looks like he had a quick word with Dunlap at first base. Might have apologized for that. Now Juan Almonte stepping up from Wheeling University, a sophomore. Clovers looking for their first 1-2-3 inning against the Skippers. That ball is going to get fouled way off into right field. That's going to get fouled right into his leg. Got to imagine that's got to hurt. He'll take a few steps to walk it off. Now an 0-2 count for Juan Almonte. And that's going to be fouled right back towards the fence. Still an 0-2 count now. As Juan Almonte battling in his own way. No balls on the board. He'll swing at that one. It's going to go right to the third baseman, Davey Morgan. He will whip that all the way to first. A fantastic throw and a good catch by Jackson Dunlap. That's going to wrap up this inning for the Clovers. We're heading to the bottom of the third. Don't go anywhere. You are watching Clayton Clovers baseball. Welcome back into Clayton here.
Leading off,
Clayton has Paxton Huff leading off here, trying to get Clayton back into this game.
Dallas University. Center fielder number 9, Paxton.
Paxton Huff coming all the way from Plano, Texas. Goes to Dallas University. Clovers looking to get their first few hits of the game here. Had a player hit by a pitch, and he was the only one to reach in Jackson Anderson. Can be difficult at the beginning of the year, as a lot of these guys are just meeting each other. Getting that kind of chemistry on the field can be difficult, which is why nobody in the Clayton camp is concerned about this 1-3 start, as now Paxton Huff works up a 3-0 count. Summer baseball has a deceptively long season. And that's going to be out, or ball number 4. And that's going to be a lead-off walk for Paxton Huff. Now Seth Bullock, the right fielder, is going to be stepping up.
Huff draws to leadoff walk. Brings up your right fielder, softball from Clayton. By way of white tag number 12, Seth Bullock.
Clayton Clovers have played more games than anybody else in the league right now at a 1-3 record, 4 games played. Currently playing their 5th as that comes in for strike number 1. Some records around the league. The Clayton Clovers in the Eastern Division currently 3rd place behind the Kinston Wingmen and Brunswick Surf and Turfs, both 1-0 records. Clayton's played, after today, will have played every single member of the Eastern Division, currently with a win over the Fayetteville Shoots 10-5 last Tuesday. They have also played the Sanford Spinners. Sand Hills Bogies 2-0 in that Central Division with the Spinners, as that's going to get hit into center field. They're going to go for 2, and they will turn both outs. A fantastic double play, 6-4-3 for the River City Skippers. Now Zach Lyon.
Left fielder number 7, Zach Lyon.
He's going to step back up, having struck out at his first at-bat. Clovers in the 3rd inning now make it to their 2nd time around the lineup. That's going to be just inside, but for strike number 1 nonetheless. The Western Division seems to be much more of a competitive side right now, as the Lexington Flying Pigs lead the division at 1-0, followed by Lenore Legends and Hendersonville Honeycrisps, both at 1-1. Then the Marion Swamp Foxes at 0-1. Got some exciting baseball for you this season here with the Old North State League. And that's going to work up to an even count. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Don't be fooled. 2 outs for Clayton has not stopped them before, as a lot of their scoring at home has come after they reach that 2-out margin, as we now enter another full count. Really been astonishing how well Clayton plays when their back is against the wall. That's going to come in for ball number 4, and Zach Lyon is going to reach base with 2 outs, with Pete Maldonado now stepping up.
First free pitcher, number 27, Fitter, Maldonado.
Looking to keep things going here for the Clovers. As Matthew Lovett has remained on the mound, that's going to get by the catcher, and it's going to now Zach Lyon to advance to 2nd. Now a runner in scoring position for the Clovers. Gives Pete Maldonado a even better chance at getting that RBI home. to cut into this 2-0 deficit that the Clovers find themselves in now. Despite starting off 1-3, the Clover staff are in increasingly high spirits as more and more talent seems to flood in from all corners. That ball is going to get hit towards the second baseman. He's going to pitch it off to the first baseman, and that's going to be a third out. We are moving now to the top of the fourth. The River City Skippers back up to bat. Don't go anywhere. You are watching Clayton Clovers baseball. Welcome back into Clayton. A chilly, breezy night here in late May as the Clovers keep Bradley Wilborn on the mound. Very solid decision. He's had himself quite a game if you take out that first inning. Even then, only 2 runs on the board really is not that bad. Ton of opportunity to come back from that. Clovers just got to get on base, but Bradley Wilborn has been pitching lights out since then. Has 4 strikeouts on the night and has started forcing the Skippers into balls that they may not particularly care to hit, but they got to swing at. It's going to be Jalen Greenridge leading it off here for the Skippers. Number 24, third baseman from Lincoln University, originally from Richmond, Virginia. Struck out on his first time around. And that first ball is going to get right by Peter Maldonado. Coming for ball number 1. And he will swing at that one despite it being pretty far inside. It's now a 1-1 count for Jalen Greenridge. Greenridge, the only Lincoln University athlete on this lineup, has a good eye for pitch number 3, makes it a 2-1 count. He will connect with that one. It's going into right field. And they will make the catch for out number 1. Seth Bullock, been busy out there in right field. It's going to be Cole Wagner up next, the left fielder from Rockhurst University. One of the 2 players originally from Fetus, Missouri. Wagner did not reach bases last time around. That first one comes in low for ball number 1. Wind very strong today. Clover staff did not put up any of the tents around the concourse. And that one's going to drift into left field, but just drift out of play. Now a 1-1 count, 1 out, and nobody on bases for the River City Skippers. Bradley Wilborn taking his time in between pitches. That's going to get hit into play. It's going to be a race. Wilborn's got it. And they'll beat him by quite a few steps. And Cole Wagner, frustrated that he does not reach base. Now for the second time tonight, Hunter Sherman up next, the center fielder from Jefferson College. One of 3 Jefferson College athletes in the lineup tonight for the Skippers. And 2 outs on the board. Clovers had some fantastic defense since that first inning, making plays all around the field, from the mound to right field, left field, center field. Fantastic throw by Davey Morgan from third base all the way to first. Something that Clovers really needed to improve after their first 2 games, and they made those adjustments. And hats off to the coaching staff and the players for that. That'll come in for strike number 1. Now a 2-1 count. 2 outs on the board. Pizza night here at East Clayton Community. That's going to get hit towards Davey Morgan. He's going to drop it. Despite them taking their time getting to the ball out in left field. Sherman will not advance past first base. Got to imagine that's going to be ruled in E5 on the third baseman. Now back to the top of the order for the Skippers, Colby Ott from Jefferson College is going to take ball number 1 in the dirt. Inside for ball number 2, the Clovers wearing their classic dark green and yellow jerseys. Some of my favorite of the wardrobe. Also easily my favorite hat of the Clovers. Absolutely love the green clover on the white background. That ball is going to be rocketed into left center field. Nobody is there. They'll collect it, throw it in. That's just going to be a 2-out single for Ott. Now runners on the corner for the Skippers, and they are threatening once again to add on to their lead. It's going to be number 18, Drew Nagel, stepping up next from High Point University, originally from Frisco, Texas. It's a long way from High Point. Just finished his first season there. That's going to be low for ball number 1. And that ball's going to get hit towards Davey Morgan. Morgan will collect it, rocket it to first, and that's going to be out number 3. The score stays 2-0. Skippers will leave 2 on the field. Clovers up next to bat. Don't go anywhere. You are watching Clayton Clovers baseball. Skippers sticking with Matthew Lovett on the mound, freshman from Chowan University, originally from Richland, North Carolina. And it's Davey Morgan's turn up at the plate. Davey Morgan recorded a ground out at his first time around. Morgan, an absolute stud for the Clovers last season, and 14 home runs, over 55 hits, and 147 at-bats. That ball is going to be high for ball number 1. Bounced just off the top of the glove. Great dodge by the up. Game's paused to collect the ball. Davey Morgan had a .463 on-base percentage, making it to base almost half the time he was at the plate last season. It's an insanely good stat line. That's going to come down low for ball number 2. One of the things that has become apparent even throughout this season, but was apparent throughout last season as well, is when Davey Morgan has a good game, the Clovers have a good game. And when he does not, the Clovers do not. Such an influential player in the dugout, as he will take ball number 4, and he will find himself at first base to lead off this inning. Up next, the cleanup spot, Mike Snyder. A lot of excitement around this dude. Easily one of the biggest guys on the field. Mike Snyder collecting himself before stepping in. And we are ready to play ball here. He'll take that one just a bit low for strike 1. Mike Snyder has a .322 average over his career with Indiana Tech. That one's going to be just a bit low. Now a 1-1 count. And 128 hits. A .389 on-base percentage. Having him follow up Davey Morgan will clearly be a threat throughout the season for the Clovers. I don't expect that to change too much as the roster will continue to adjust as the season continues. One of the key things that the Clovers have worked with here is their patience on the mound, or patience at the plate. The Clovers pitchers have not been making it easy. That one's going to come inside. They're going to say that hit him. And now the Clovers have batters on first and second as they're going to come out and have a meeting. Jackson Dunlap will be up next for the Clovers. Has the opportunity to do some damage as the leading run steps up to the plate. Davey Morgan, dangerous base runner, now in scoring position. That's something that the Skippers are going to have to keep a close eye on. We haven't gotten a chance to see Mike Snyder and his base running abilities yet, but if I had to guess, based off of his stature and his stats from college, it's going to be dangerous. He's had 113 RBIs in his time. And they will keep Lovett in the game. Jackson Dunlap's going to hit that one to the shortstop. They're going to try and get Davey Morgan. They will not. Now suddenly, bases loaded for the Clovers with no outs. Jackson Anderson now stepping up. Has the ability to earn his first few RBIs on the night. With no outs on the board, the Clovers have the chance here to cut into this deficit, possibly tie it up and take the lead. That first ball is going to be hit hard towards left field, and it's going to be just foul. Left fielder was chasing it hard. Cole Wagner out there, giving it everything he had, but he was still a few yards short. So Anderson will come back to the plate now. An 0-1 count. No outs for the Clovers. Skipper's in a jam here, especially with Zach Slotowski up next, followed by Paxton Huff. The Clovers are in position here to really do some damage, and it is up to Matthew Lovett to keep that from happening. And that's going to be a wild pitch that's going to allow Davey Morgan to score. Now a 2-1 game. Great eyes by everybody on the Clovers base passes. Everyone will advance now. Mike Snyder at third, Jackson Dunlap at second. And Anderson now has the chance to tie the game. And that's going to get by the catcher. But as you might have heard, the chorus of no's raining down from the Clovers' third base coach, telling Snyder to stay put. Now a 2-1 count, still no outs for the Clovers. It's an interesting decision for the Skippers to try and get Davey Morgan out at third instead of whipping that back to first. Don't know if they weren't confident in that throw to first. Davey Morgan, safe by the skin of his teeth, but safe nonetheless. That ball's going to be high, and the catcher pops up, ready to throw someone down. Had me wanting to get back to third base with that look he gave Mike Snyder down there. That's going to be outside, and Anderson is going to make his way over to first. The bases are loaded once again with Zach Soltolski up next.
Bases loaded brings up your shortstop, number 6, Zach Soltowski.
Soltowski with the opportunity here. The bases loaded. Tying run at third, leading run at second. Can start patting from first. That ball's going to be up high and fouled away. 0-1 count now for Zach Zoltowski. These Clovers, man, I'll tell you, they are a fun bunch of players to watch. No matter what situation they find themselves in, they battle. That ball's going to get hit into right center field. 1 run's going to come home. 2 runs are going to come home. And the Clovers are going to take the lead now. A 2 RBI single for Zach Zoltowski. Anderson will also make his way to second and stay put. What a play by Zach Zoltowski. A perfect little bloop into right center field. Bringing home Mike Snyder and Jackson Dunlap. The energy is now flowing through the Clayton Clovers dugout. Runner in scoring position at second. That ball is going to be low for ball number 1. Anderson, not the fastest guy in the world, but boy, can he hit. And Paxton Huff up now at the plate for the Clovers. He's going to hit that ball high towards the infield. And they will make the catch for out number 1. All the runners will stay put. And Seth Bullock now is up.
Your right fielder, number 12, Seth Bullock.
With 1 out on the board, a runner in scoring position, and another at first. Clovers have had themselves the inning they were looking for. Taking the lead 3-2 from the Skippers. And looking to continue to pad that lead. That's to be called for strike number 1. Seth Bullock came in last night as a pinch hitter. Performed pretty well. Clovers ended up falling last night 5-1 in a game that was a lot closer than that score indicates. Clovers in the middle of a 3-game homestand here in game number 2. Game number 3 will be tomorrow against the Fayetteville Shoots, depending on weather. There's supposed to be some nasty stuff forecasted for tomorrow. So stay tuned on the Clovers social media accounts to get updates for tomorrow. And if you're not already following us, we put out content every single day surrounding our players in the game. We would love to have you as part of our Clovers family. That ball is going to get fouled right towards the Clovers dugout. That ball is going to get hit towards the second baseman. He's going to turn around and throw it to second. They're going to try and turn 2, and they will. The Skippers' second double play of the night, both on Seth Bullock as a batter. The Clovers now take the lead at the bottom of the 4th. We're moving into the top of the 5th, where the Skippers will look to respond. Don't go anywhere. You are watching Clayton Clovers baseball.
Again, you're going to see pride out.
Welcome back into Clayton, North Carolina, where we are through 4 full innings here. It's been a tough game so far for both sides. Pitchers have been strong with 1 bad inning for both. But the Clovers, now at the top of the 5th, have a 3-2 lead.
Oh, that was sad.
And it will still be number 19, Bradley Wilborn, on the mound for the Clovers.
That was worse. Now you got it.
Wilborn now on his 3rd way through the lineup. Old saying that after your 3rd time through the lineup, The batters start doing pretty well against the pitchers. Be curious if Wilborn will stay out past the 5th inning. Last night was the first time a pitcher at home had gone through past 3 innings with Roy Taman, who had himself a very strong game. Allowed no runs through. Went through 5 innings. Now Bradley Wilborn matching that so far. First ball to Rowan Hudson is going to be low for ball number 1. Hudson had a double RBI and a strikeout, so he's seen both ends of the spectrum so far today. Thought about swinging at that, but didn't. Now a 1-1 count. That's going to be on the inside corner for ball number 2. Skippers held the lead since the top of the first. Now finding themselves behind. That ball's going to get hit into play. It's going to have to be the shortstop. He will not make the play. Rowan Hudson's going to reach first on an E6.
Brings up the designated hitter now, number 23, Jack.
Now Jack Matusik sets up, a designated hitter out of Jefferson College, originally from Kirkwood, Missouri, one of the 4 Missouri natives on this starting lineup. If you've got any questions about the Clovers, the game, or the season ahead, feel free to tweet me any of your questions at John Jack Loomis. Again, that is at John Jack Loomis, John with an H. Voice of the Clayton Clovers would love to answer your questions and get to meet some of you fans. What an excellent throw by Peter Maldonado down to first. Caught the runner off guard, just barely safe. Found himself about 3 feet off the base when that throw was thrown. Honestly, impressive reflexes by Rowan Hudson to get back. Now a 1-1 count. They're going to check on Rowan again, but he will be safe. And that's going to get hit right to the first baseman. He's going to throw it off to second, and they'll return it to first. Oh, and they will not call that a double play. Jack Matusek
Number 1, safe at first.
reached on a fielder's choice. They will get Rowan Hudson out at second, though. So with an out on the board, only a runner on first. Ethan Robinson steps up now, number 11 from Showen University. That's to come in for strike number 1. Clovers looking for their first home win of the season. Something that these Clayton natives would love to see. That ball's hit towards left center field. That's going to drop. Runner will advance to second. Now runners at first and second, 1 out on the board, and the catcher, Juan Almonte, is stepping up from Wheeling University, a sophomore there. Bradley Wilborn looking to close out this inning as he has the past few. After all, runners on the bases don't mean anything if you can't bring them home. That is fouled deep right and out of play. Now an 0-1 count for Almonte. That's low for ball number 1. Evens up the count at 1-1. Almonte currently 1 for 2 on the night so far. Had a single in the first inning, but was out the last time he was out. Hard swing and a miss. Makes it now a 1-2 count. And they'll hit that towards the shortstop. He'll make the play in second. They're going to throw it to first, and that's going to be 2.
Double play to end the inning.
A 4-3 double play will end the inning for the Clovers. They're coming back up at the bottom of the 5th to try and pad on this lead. Don't go anywhere. You are watching Clayton Clovers baseball. Top of the order due up here for the Clayton Clovers as they are working their 3rd time round the lineup. Number 7, Zach Lyons stepping up to the plate. Looking to keep things rolling for the Clovers. Had themselves a fantastic inning where they scored 3 runs. Wild pitch allowed 1 to score while Zach Zlotolski had a 2 RBI single to tie it up and then take the lead, all within a few seconds of each other. First ball will be in for ball number 1. They've got Peter Maldonado up next. Low for ball 2. Zach Lyons has worked up 2 full counts so far in his first 2 at-bats, one resulting in a strikeout, another resulting in a walk. And that's going to get hit foul for a 2-1 count now. And that's another foul ball. Evens up the count at 2-2. Only 1 ball away now from working that up to his 3rd full count of the night.
So I've been working with Carrie and Clayton and coaching.
And that's going to be that ball that we're looking for. It is now his 3rd full count of the night. Zach Lyons, the only Clayton player to record a full count. 2 other full counts coming from the skippers in Drew Nagel and Rowan Hudson. They'll check his swing. It won't matter. It's ball number 4. Zach Lyon will reach base for the 2nd time today on a walk from a full count. And now Peter Maldonado steps up, currently 0 for 2 on the day. The catcher, his first game at home as catcher for the Clovers. First one's going to be low for ball number 1. And that's going to be strike 1. A 1-1 count now for Peter Maldonado. Whereas Matthew Lovett is also working his 5th inning on the mound. Lovett has had himself 5 walks on the night, a hit by pitch, 2 strikeouts, but has also helped create 2 double plays. That ball is fouled up high. Both these pitchers have had very calm, cool, collected natures about them, responding well after each of the innings, resulting in runs. And that is the first full count of the night for Peter Maldonado. First Clover not named Zach Lyon to receive one tonight. A very common occurrence here is full counts. That's going to be hit right towards the first baseman. And that's going to be out number 1. However, Zach Lyon will advance to second. So now, who else but Davey Morgan with a runner in scoring position? Davey got a walk on his first time around, but made it all around the bases and was the Clovers' first run of the night. 1 of 3 so far. And he'll step into the batter's box now. And everyone here in Clayton gets quiet when Davey Morgan steps up because anything could happen. First pitch is in for a ball. Morgan is definitely not the player you want to see on the other end when you step up on the mound as a pitcher. He is just absolutely dangerous. He can be explosive. He can be patient and wait for that walk. That one's going to get hit deep and foul. Morgan also a very dangerous base runner. Made his way to third after a foot race. By Jackson Dunlap. Jackson Dunlap had grounded it towards the third baseman, or the shortstop. And Davey Morgan was moving from second to third. And they elected to throw it to the third baseman rather than get the runner out at first. But Davey Morgan won that foot race, allowing the bases to be loaded. As he's going to hit that towards the shortstop. The shortstop will collect it, but the throw will not be in time. Davey Morgan's going to make it to first base. Zach Lyon will not advance. So runners now on first and second.
Brings it to a second baseman, number 5, Mike Snyder.
Zach Snyder now up to bat for the Clovers. Mike Snyder, my apologies, was hit by a pitch his last time up. Also made it all the way home. Was the tying run for the Clovers. Coming for ball 1. In case you didn't get to be with us for our little pregame show, Snyder was described as an absolute game changer by general manager and owner Louis DeCarolis. As that's going to be fouled back for the first strike. Now a 1-1 count for Mike Snyder. now Snyder looking to get to base for the second time in a row. And the pitcher will think about throwing to second, elects not to. And Zach Lyon was almost all the way back to base by the time the pitcher turned around. That's going to be a low pitch for ball number 2. It's been fun watching the Clovers dugout get to know each other a little more as players continue to come in, more returners from last season, and as players have spent more and more time with each other here in Clayton, North Carolina. It's fun watching these relationships develop. One of my favorite things about these summer league baseball that's going to be strike number 1. Clovers playing their first ever season in the Old North State League. Played in the Carolina Collegiate League last year, formerly known as the Carolina and Virginia Collegiate League. And after the one team from Virginia left, it was simplifying to the Carolina Collegiate League. And Mike Snyder hit by pitch for the second time in a row, this time directly in his back. Now the base is loaded for the Clovers, and Jackson Dunlap once again has another chance to reach base as there will be another mound meeting with Matthew Lovett, and his night is over. Gave him the fist bump, and here comes the new pitcher for the Skippers, here to get them out of a jam. Bases loaded with only 1 out. Still waiting to get that number from the pitcher. Has a quick little meeting with the catcher. Looking like number 4, Gabriel King. Gabriel King is a sophomore from Jefferson College, so we are sticking with the Chowan Jefferson College duo here. He's originally from Hillsboro, but not the one in North Carolina, Hillsboro, Missouri. So another Missouri native here. Once again, it's going to be Jackson Dunlap due up for the Clovers.
And again, don't forget 50-50 raffle tickets going on sale. Again, they're making their way around the stadium. 1 for $1, 7 for $5, or a whole long sleeve for 10.
Gabe King, a left-handed pitcher.
They call the pot of gold. I'll be announcing the winner.
He was previously from Kankakee Community College.
50-50 raffle.
Just finished his freshman season, so he will be a sophomore here for Jefferson College. So now Jackson Dunlap stepping up to the plate. A strikeout and a single to his name so far tonight. Only 1 out on the board. And that's going to be fouled towards the fence. Make it an 0-1 count. Up next is going to be Jackson Anderson. Once Dunlap is done with this at-bat. And that ball by Jackson Dunlap is going to be caught in the deep right field. But Zach Lyon will tag up from third and give the Clovers now a 4-2 lead as Jackson Anderson steps up.
Brings up your number 14, your designated hitter, Jackson Anderson.
So Gabe King now records the second out of the inning, which a run will score, but will not be counted against Gabe King. Gabe King brought in to get the Skippers out of a jam here, which he has not done a bad job of that so far as he works up an 0-2 count. John Loomis here with you on the broadcast, the voice of the Clovers. Thank you for joining us. We hope you are having just as much fun as we are. And that's a beautiful strike three to end the inning against Jackson Anderson. Ton of movement on that pitch. Gabe King is going to get them out of that jam. Only one run through. Skippers are back up to bat. Don't go anywhere. We are heading to the top of the sixth. This is Clayton Clovers baseball. Welcome back into Clayton. Clayton is turning to new help on the mound. It's going to be number 23, Whit Branham. Originally from Elgin, South Carolina. He's a right-handed pitcher. Attends Florence Darlington Community College, where he is a sophomore. He has 11 clean innings pitched, a 1-0 record, 10 strikeouts, and a 5.73 ERA. So clearly, this guy was brought to Clayton with some strong expectations. Gets his first chance here this season to show off his relief skills as he looks to keep the Clovers in this 4-2 lead right now. Tomorrow night for Clayton wraps up this three-game homestand. Be the first rematch of the season as the Clovers will now host Fayetteville Shoots, who they previously beat on Tuesday. It's going to be number 24 up first for the River City Skippers, Jalen Greenridge, who is currently 0-2 on the night with a ground out and a strikeout.
Your attention, please. Taking the mound now for your Clovers. It's a sophomore from Elgin, South Carolina, number 23, Whit Branham.
Now Whit Branham for his first batter. On top of the sixth now. It's been an exciting game here at East Clayton Community Park. That first ball is going to be hit right towards the shortstop. He's going to snake around and get it. Throw it to first, and that's going to be a quick out here for the Clovers and Whit Branham.
Coming to the plate, left fielder, number 8, Cole Wagner.
It's going to be Cole Wagner up next for the Skippers. Cole Wagner also 0 for 2 on the night.
Papa John's $2 pizza sausage. Get him now. What up?
Left fielder for the Skippers going to take first pitch for ball number 1. Ball number 2 now. An excellent way for Whit Branham to get that quick first out without much of pitching. Also an excellent play by the shortstop for the Clovers, Zach Zoltowski, As strike number 1 comes in, Zoltowski had a 2 RBI single in the 4th inning to give the Clovers a 3-2 lead before the Clovers expanded on that in the 5th inning. And that's going to be strike number 2. And that ball's going to get hit in the exact same spot of the shortstop. He will not collect it, though. And that's going to be an E6, allowing Cole Wagner to reach base. It's going to be Hunter Sherman up next, the center fielder from Jefferson College. Another one of those Missouri natives here for the River City Skippers. 1 out on the board now. Runner on first. That first ball is going to get fouled back just over the fence. Chorus of heads up. Luckily, nobody was hit. It's going to be a good souvenir for a lucky little fan here. As that ball is going to get hit no further than the infield, it's going to be the second baseman, Mike Snyder, making the catch. And that's going to be a quick second out now. As Colby Ott, we're back to the top of the lineup. Ott has reached base every single time so far. He is 3 for 3. And that runner's going to take off for second. It won't matter. That ball is foul. Everybody returns to where they started. Colby Ott had a single, a double, and then another single. Now looking to continue that pattern. That ball is inside for ball number 1. Peter Maldonado has been excellent at throwing some of these pickoffs without popping up. It takes a tremendous amount of arm strength, and he has caught multiple base runners off guard, yet to get anybody out. But the second that a batter finds themselves more than just a few feet off of base, they might find themselves in trouble with Maldonado behind home plate. Now a 1-2 count. That ball is going to get hit. It's going to be fair. Davey Morgan, an incredible throw all the way from the other side of the field. And Jackson with a fantastic grab at first. That's going to end the top of the 6th here. We're heading to the bottom of the 6th where the Clovers look to continue padding this lead. Don't go anywhere. You are watching Clayton Clovers baseball. Welcome back into Clayton now. We are in the bottom of the 6th. Zach Zoltowski stepping up. Last time he was at bat, he drove in 2 RBI. Doesn't really have that option unless he gets himself home right now. Zoltowski had a great start to the season so far for the Clovers as he takes strike number 1. has had himself a pretty decent game at shortstop. Made quite a few good throws to first, although recording an error or two. Has not cost the Clovers much. Now a 1-1 count for Zach Zoltowski. The Clovers having a lead here late in the 6th inning. A hard swing and a miss for strike number 2. And Gabe King got the Skippers out of quite a jam. It was just 1 out with bases loaded. Gabe King managed to send the Skippers back home, back to the dugout, I should say, with only allowing 1 runner getting home. That ball is going to be fouled to the left side. Clovers have not even made it through their lineup for the 3rd time yet tonight. And that's going to be strike number 3. Second strikeout of the night for Gabe King.
Number 9, Paxton.
He's got Paxton Huff coming up next, though. So 1 out on the board. Nobody on base, Paxton Huff. Drew a walk his first time round. Is 0 for 1 on the night as he fouls that one out of play. No 1 count here for Paxton Huff and Gabe King. Paxton shows bunt, but the ball is just outside. Now a 1-1 count. A 1-1-1 count. That ball's going to be low for ball 2. Paxton has always been a very patient batter. Not swinging it a whole lot, but often finding himself on base one way or another. That's going to be ball number 3, and now Paxton's got himself a bit of leeway to work with here. Question is, what do you do as the pitcher here? And he'll throw a good one down the middle for strike number 2. Paxton was ready to take off towards first. Now, Paxton finds himself in a full count. And that's going to be a strong swing and a miss. Now, the second strikeout for Gabe King. He is absolutely shoving through this lineup. Seth Bullock is up next, though, as he'll try and get things going for the Clovers here in the bottom of the 6th. That comes in for ball number 1. Clovers definitely want to start padding up this lead. So you never know what can happen as we start getting into those later innings in the game. Now a 1-1 count. That ball's going to get hit towards the first baseman. It's going to be a foot race. Not much of one, though, as they will tag the bag. And that is the 3rd out. A quick bottom of the 6th here for the Clovers. The Skippers are up next. Don't go anywhere. You are watching Clayton Clovers Baseball. Welcome back into Clayton here as we are wrapping up a pretty strong dance competition here between Klein, the Clover, and some strong competition.
We head to the seventh.
Don't know if they. Whoa! Don't know if that was caught, but that was an impressive somersault from the clear winner of that dance off. Now, Whit Branham up for his second inning. We've got a pinch hitter here in place of Colby Ott, who's going to hit that ball towards center field. It'll be caught. That is a quick out.
Brings to the plate now for the Skippers, the first baseman, number 21, Rowan Hudson.
Now Rowan Hudson coming up, number 21. Rowan reached base twice so far, struck out once, had himself a double RBI, reached base on an E6, and then had a strikeout from a full count. Now a 1-1 count as Branham is working quickly here in this top of the seventh inning. Branham having an impressive showing so far. That one's hit towards the shortstop. He'll have to dive for it, but they will get him out nonetheless.
2 up, 2 down now for the Skippers.
2 up and 2 down for the Skippers. Whit Branham is working efficiently. Now Jack Matusek up, the designated hitter, has also reached base twice, once on a fielder's choice though. The other on a double RBI. He is 1 for 2 on the night. Come in for ball number 1. This Clovers pitching staff and fielding has been spectacular throughout tonight as that comes in for strike number 1. Davey Morgan, especially in third base, has thrown some absolute missiles from third base all across the diamond. And Jackson Dunlap on the other side of first base has been able to connect a lot of those plays. He has been spectacular. That ball is hit towards the second baseman. It's going to get past him, and that's going to be a single for Jack Matusek. Has now reached base 3 of 4 times.
Number 11.
Right fielder Ethan Robinson is going to step up. Still got to be careful here, even though there is 2 outs on the board. Got to be careful now with a runner on bases to not let him advance too far. Good deep ball can send him all the way home as that's fouled right towards the Clovers dugout. Whit Branham looking for his signs. And that ball is going to be just foul on the third base line. Everyone's going to go back to where they started. Davey Morgan was ready for it. Now an 0-2 count at this top of the 7th. The 7th inning stretch coming up next here at East Clayton Community Park. Good crowd here on a Friday night. Where else would you rather be than in Clayton, North Carolina, watching Clayton Clovers baseball? Clovers have the third game of this 3-game homestand tomorrow. Be a rematch against the Fayetteville Shoots. Stay on the lookout for any updates surrounding that game based on weather. Some inclement weather forecasted for tomorrow pretty much all day. You can follow Clayton Clovers on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, you name it. get updates not only about the game now, whether as that strike comes through, that's going to end the top of the 7th here for Whit Branham.
Ends the inning at
The Clovers heading to the bottom of the 7th, still up 4-2. Another chance to pad the lead. Don't go anywhere. You were watching Clayton Clovers baseball.
2.
Welcome back into Clayton, where the Skippers turn to new help on the mound. It'll be number 20 for the Skippers, Joshua Wise, another Chowan University athlete. He is a freshman. Joshua Wise looking to keep the Clovers off the bases and out of home, as the Skippers have some work to do. They are down 2 in the bottom of the 7th here. Clovers finally getting the bats to connect and getting those runners home as they find themselves in a 4-2 lead. It's going to be the top of the order here. Zach Lyon, who has reached base last 2 times by drawing walks, struck out initially. He has found himself in a full count every single at-bat. So go ahead and place your bets on whether or not that's going to happen for the 4th time in a row. I myself am not a betting man. Been around sports too long to know not to trust them. That comes in for an 0-1 count. Interesting to see Gabe King get taken out as that ball comes up and is bounces off the dirt all the way up. Gabe King was having himself a night, had 3 strikeouts, forced a ground out, was brought in to get Skippers out of that full bases jam. That's going to be low for ball number 2. We are halfway there. That's going to be on the inside for strike number 2. Josh Wise still looking for his footing here as he opens up at this bottom of the 7th here for the Skippers. And that ball is going to be hit. And it's going to be a foot race to first. They'll get him out, though. So Zach Lyon will not get that 4th full count. Peter Maldonado is up next, though. Struck out the last time he was at the plate. Maldonado has had himself a fantastic game behind the plate. He fouls that one deep and left. Been really fun watching Maldonado at the catcher position, as he has the ability to throw down to pretty much any of the bases without popping up and alerting the batter or the dugout, which has caught the runners off guard quite a few times, but the runners have never been more than just a few steps away. So by the time they realize it's not too late when they hit the dirt, I'm hoping that Maldonado, though, can catch a runner more than just a few steps off, because that will be nasty at the catcher position. And if he keeps that up throughout the season, that's going to be something that teams all year are going to have to be the watch out, or going to have to watch out for while Maldonado is catching. That's going to be hit towards the second baseman, and it's a tough throw, but he will make it. And that's going to be a quick out number 2 here in the bottom of the 7th, as Davey Morgan is going to step up, the third baseman, who has reached base 2 of the 3 last times he has been up to the plate. Morgan, who also has been fantastic on the fielding side, really has been a highlight of the night. That's going to be straight down the middle for strike 1. Davey Morgan was almost on the other side of third base and just absolutely launched it to first base for an out earlier in the game. Very crucial out, too. And they'll call time here. That ball is going to be low, making a 1-1 count here. Davey Morgan, a leader in the dugout and on the field. This will be low for ball number 2. Dangerous combination today has been Davey Morgan followed by Mike Snyder. And that one is fouled deep and away. Make it a 2-2 count now. I have a sneaking suspicion we'll be seeing Mike Snyder and Davey Morgan batting back-to-back quite a few times, as they have just had the ability to wreak havoc. They have both reached base the last 2 times they were up at bat. Mike Snyder being hit by pitch twice in a row, obviously hoping to see that does not happen again, as now Davey Morgan reaches his first full count of the night. That's going to be fouled straight towards the third base coach. Does an excellent job of getting his jumping jack in to avoid the ball. Got to remember the 5 Ds of dodgeball when at third base, as Davey Morgan will draw his second walk of the night, and he will reach base once again with 2 outs on the board. And here comes Mike Snyder. Hit by pitch twice. Matthew Lovett getting subbed out after hitting Mike Snyder last time. And the umpire asking for a few more balls before we resume play here. So with 2 outs on the board and a runner at first, Mike Snyder is stepping up to the plate now. And I'll tell you what, if the Clovers continue to play like this, they are going to be a tough nut to crack here in the Old North State League in the Eastern Division. That's going to be outside for ball number 1. And that ball is going to get cracked towards the first baseman, who will make the catch. That'll end the 7th inning. We're heading to the top of the 8th, where the Skippers only have 2 more chances to try and tie up this game. Don't go anywhere. You are watching Clayton Clovers baseball. Clayton holds a 4-2 lead here in the top of the 8th. They look to maintain that as one. Well, Monte will step back up. Whit Branham still working on the mound. And Juan's going to take pitch number 1 for a strike. Juan Almonte reached base his first time at bat, has not since. A double play last time he was up at bat. There will not be that option as we now move to an 0-2 count. And that's going to be fouled. Whit Branham has done a fantastic job at forcing these batters to swing. And will continue to do so. Some time is taken now in between pitches. He's also been working pretty quickly compared to his predecessor in Bradley Wilborn. That ball is hit up high to right field. It's Seth Bullock underneath it, and he's got it for out number 1 of the inning.
The third baseman, number 24, Jaden Greenidge.
And it's going to be Jalen Greenidge up next. And that ball is going to get hit into play on the first go. A fantastic throw by Whit Branham, who chased down the ball, delivered it to the first baseman. That's going to be out number 2 and a very quick out. And now the Clovers have the opportunity as Cole Wagner steps up to the plate to take a 1-2-3 inning after going 2 up, 2 down. That ball fouled straight back. Thank goodness for the chain link fence in between me and that ball. That comes in for strike number 2. If you've been following us throughout the season and giving you updates, while I did not flinch at that one, I will not really give it much of a fairness as that's fouled off because I was busy working on my score sheet when that ball came in, so I did not see it come until it hit. And that ball is hit deep right and foul, but Seth Bullock is going to be there, and that's going to be a quick 1-2-3 inning here for the Clovers, and we move to the bottom of the 8th where the Clovers look to pad their lead one last time before possibly closing out this game. Clovers looking for their first home win of the season. You are watching Clayton Clovers baseball. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back into Clayton, North Carolina here in the bottom of the 8th, where Clayton looks to expand on their 4-2 lead here before moving on to the 9th.
Now batting.
The Skippers are going to keep Josh Wise on the mound. He's had himself a pretty strong showing so far. 3 outs and 1 walk. It's Jackson Dunlap up to bat, and he'll take pitch number 1 for a ball.
0061. If you got that matching, come see me.
That's coming in for strike number 1. Now a 1-1 count here. Clovers looking. Oh, and that's a foul tip. Strike number 2. Josh Wise throws it just a bit low, evens up the count at 2-2. Jackson Dunlap, one of the Clayton natives here. He fouls that one deep.
We got a winner.
Right.
We got a winner. Congratulations, Averly's going home with a quick $15. Thank you, Averly.
That little short right here.
Got the Jacksons back-to-back here in the lineup. That ball's going to be low, and Dunlap's found himself in his first full count of the night. Had a sack RBI previously on base. As he fouls that one off, and he has commenced himself into this battle with Josh Wise to lead off the inning. Josh Wise has had himself a good showing, and that ball is fouled. What a fantastic battle here in the bottom of the 8th as the Clovers up 4-2 over the River City Skippers. And that ball is just high. Dunlap making his way to first base to lead off this inning. Up next, Jackson Anderson, designated hitter.
Designated hitter. Number 14, Jackson Anderson.
Has reached base 2 of the 3 times. He has been up to the plate. Hit by pitch 1 time, walked the other, then struck out his last time at the plate. First time Josh Wise is seeing him today. Is that first pitch going to come high and inside for ball number 1. That's going to be just a bit high for ball number 2 now. Words of encouragement coming from the Clayton dugout. Now he finds himself in a 3-0 count. And so the question, the eternal question to ask yourself, do you swing on a 3-0 count? You've got 2 pitches to work with. A strike doesn't necessarily put you in, and he'll elect to swing, giving him now a 3-1 count. Personally, I tend to err on the side of not swinging. Very rare that I have found myself in a 3-0 count in the Church League softball I have played, and now with 2 straight swings, we find ourselves in a 3-2 count. Anderson's trying hard to take this thing out of the park. And that's going to be strike 3. Anderson's going to be out. But Jackson Dunlap will also steal second at the same time. Good stolen base there for Jackson Dunlap, as now the Clovers have 1 out on the board, but a runner in scoring position as Zach Zotolski steps up to the plate. Struck out last time he was there, courtesy of Gabe King, who struck out 3 in a row, Zach Zotolski being the second in that line. And Josh Wise calls for a quick meeting with his catcher. Wonder if he's letting him know of another pitch in his arsenal he hasn't shown off yet. We'll see if that comes up in these first few pitches. Zatolski had a RBI single previously. 2 RBI single. That first one comes straight down the middle for strike 1. Zatolski looking to continue some of the success from earlier in the day as he takes strike number 2, finds himself in an 0-2 count. And Josh Wise working on his 7th batter. And that ball's going to be hitting to center field. And a fantastic catch. And Jackson Dunlap took off for third. Probably didn't expect that to get caught. So they tag him out at second. That's out number 3. We're going to the top of the 9th. Clayton has a chance to shut this game down right here, right now. Don't go anywhere. You are watching Clayton Clovers Baseball. The Clovers have a chance here to get their first win at East Clayton Community Park. Whit Branham steps up to the mound once again, looking to close this thing out. As Hunter Sherman steps up to the plate, looking to get things back on track for the Skippers, who scored in the first inning and have not been able to deliver since. And that's going to come down the middle for strike number 1. A 1-1 count here. That ball is going to be roped down the third base line. That's a fair ball as the left fielder is now chasing it. Will throw it in. Is that going to be in time? They're going to call him safe at second. Hard to tell from my angle. But that's going to be a lead-off double for Hunter Sherman. Now as Colby Ott is stepping up, looking to keep things going. He's reached base 3 of the 4 times he's stepped up. 3 hits, 1 double. So Ott now with a runner in scoring position has a good chance here as he takes pitch number 1 for a ball. That ball is going to be just foul down the left side. Now a 1-1 count here for Colby Ott. As Whit Brenham had himself an effective few innings so far. Wind's starting to pick up here in Clayton, and that batter's going to get hit, and all of a sudden there are runners on first and second with no outs here as Drew Nagel is going to step up, the second baseman. He has not reached base once so far tonight, recording 2 strikeouts and 2 outs. Here comes the pitching staff for Clayton. Looks like they're going to be taking him out. That's the end of the night for Whit Branham. So who are they bringing in to close this out? Whit Branham had himself a pretty fantastic night. No strikeouts on the night, but effectively got himself through a couple innings, having 2 straight 1-2-3 innings. Now this next pitcher has the chance to close out this game. Still waiting on that number. We'll get it to you as soon as I have it. That's going to be number 15, Matthew Hall from Catawba Valley Community College, originally from Benson, North Carolina. He's a freshman there, right-handed pitcher. His freshman year had 36 2/3 innings pitched, had a 4-0 record, a whopping 30 strikeouts with a 6.63 ERA. They are asking a lot of Matthew Hall to come out here and finish this game up, but it is nothing past what is out of his capabilities.
Your attention, please. Taking the ball.
The infielders all gathered up watching him warm up.
North Carolina. The way of Catawba Valley Community College. The number 15 is Matt Hall.
So it's going to be Drew Nagel coming up, the second baseman here for the Skippers, originally from High Point University, a Frisco, Texas native. So a little refresher here. Runners on first and second. There was a double and then a hit by pitch. And Whit Branham taken out of the game. Now Matthew Hall, number 15. And we are set to play ball. Clovers can close out the game here. We're waiting for that first pitch, and it's in. And that's going to be good for strike number 1. A half swing, but it didn't matter whether or not he swung. That was right down the middle. Matthew Hall now. Checking on the second baseman. That ball's going to be in for strike number 2. Matthew Hall is showing why his strikeout volume is high, working up a quick 0-2 count as Drew Nagel finds himself down in the count. That ball is going to be just a little bit low. Works it up to a 1-2 count. Hunter Sherman's bouncing around over there on second, threatening to jump to third, but Matthew Hall is more than well aware of him as he continues to check on him. That ball is going to be fouled. Keeps the count at 1-2 here for Hall. And Drew Nagel, the freshman. And that's going to be low. Evens up the count now at 2-2. Clovers holding on to the lead by just 2 runs. Tying run on first base right now. And that's going to be good for ball 3. Runners are going to take off, and everyone is going to make it. We are now in a 3-2 count with runners on second and third. So all of a sudden, the tying run in scoring position, still 4-2. But things just got a lot more dangerous here for Clayton. And that's a good swing and a miss for strike three. What a way to bounce back by Matthew Hall. It's going to be Rowan Hudson now up next. That strikeout was huge. With runners on second and third now, Rowan Hudson, one of those Chowan University athletes. Takes a swing. That's going to be high. Just foul. The first baseman's going to go for it. He's going to make the catch. They're not going to tag. That's out number 2. And suddenly the Skippers find themselves down to just 1 out as Jack Matusek steps up to the plate, the designated hitter out of Jefferson College, number 23. Very slick hat flip before he puts his helmet on. Honestly, one of the more impressive things I've seen in these past 30 minutes. But Matthew Hall now has the chance to close this out after 2 consecutive quick outs. Works up the count to 1-0. No call time as the Matthew Hall works on his socks. And Jack Matusek steps back into the box, ready to go. Matthew Hall takes a swing, tips it, but it is foul. 1-1 count now. One count, 2 outs, 2 runners in scoring position. And that's going to be called ball, much to the displeasure of the Clayton fans and dugout. 2-1 count now for Matthew Hall. And that ball is hit. That's going to be a 1-run score. Another runner's going to come around and score. And that's a tie ball game now here in the bottom of the 9th. 2 outs on the board, but it did not matter as Jack Matusek gives himself a 2 RBI single.
Now batting right fielder number 11, Ethan Robinson.
Now Ethan Robinson stepping up to the plate. Clovers have to make sure that this doesn't deflate them. Time ball game at 4 now, top of the 9th. And they'll call that foul. An 0-1 count now here for Robinson. Right fielder out of Chowan University. Robinson reached base 50% of the time so far today, 2 for 4. 2 singles, 2 outs. And that's going to be hit towards center field. That's going to drop. And now runners on first and second after the single from Ethan Robinson. And it's Juan Almonte up next.
Now batting the catcher number 27, Juan Almonte.
Clayton's got to get out of this before things get out of hand. They'll call time, and they're having a quick meeting with the pitcher. Doesn't look like they'll be taking him out. Just reminding him, hey, you only got 1 out to go. No need to overthink this. As Ted Lasso said, you got to have the memory of a goldfish. Things are going to happen. Things are going to go wrong in sports. It's just how it is, especially in baseball. Every pitcher's going to have themselves a few hits here and there. But you have to not let it affect you. You got to just kind of forget it. Keep moving on like nothing happened. Now Juan Almonte steps up to the plate. Reached base once so far. He's got a runner in scoring position at second and another at first. And that one's going to get hit into play. The second baseman will throw it to first. They'll get out of this top of the ninth, but it's a tie ball game. So we are going to the bottom of the ninth. Clayton has the chance to walk it off here. Will they do so? Find out next here. You are watching Clayton Clovers baseball. It's the bottom of the ninth here in East Clayton Community Park. The Clovers have an opportunity here to walk this game off. A big top of the ninth here for the Skippers allowed them to tie up the ball game. Now it's Clayton's turn. And number 24, JoJo Allen, looks like he's going to be pinch hitting here.
Coming to the plate, leading off, pitch hitting for your Clovers.
Looks like he'll be pinch hitting for Zach Soltolsky. JoJo Allen's been playing shortstop himself quite a few times.
Number 24, JoJo Allen.
And JoJo, looks like they're ready in case we do go to extra innings to have JoJo be at shortstop. That first pitch is going to be low for ball number 1. Big stage here for the Clayton Clovers, as that's low for ball number 2. And the fans here in Clayton are tuned in. So that is a swing and a miss for strike number 1 here. JoJo Allen has been in the lineup for most of the season so far. But as it is still early in the season and coaches are often giving some of these other players chances, as that hit is hit deep into left field. And the left fielder is under that. That will be out number 1. So Paxton Huff now. Sorry, Seth Bullock. So JoJo Allen actually hit in for Paxton Huff, not Zach Soltolsky. But Seth Bullock now up. And that's in for ball number 1. A strong swing and a miss for strike number 1, now evened up at a 1-1 count. Clovers don't need much here, just 1 run. Nobody on base yet. That's a good take for ball number 2. He'll swing at that one, now a 2-2 count. And Josh Wise still on the mound here for the Skippers. And that one's going to be fouled. And we've got ourselves a little battle here. Josh Wise is not allowed a hit yet today. Walking two batters and grounding or pop flying the rest of them out, as that's going to be ball number 3, and that is going to be Seth Bullock's first full count of the night. And that's fouled off deep left. Every full count here for Josh Wise has resulted in a walk so far. And they're going to call that strike 3, despite that looking pretty inside. That's going to be protested by the dugout and the batter. He is still protesting that call. My goodness, what a call. Sorry, not what a call. What a take by Seth Bullock. So that's going to be Josh Wise's first strikeout of the night. And we're back up to Zach Lyon. Suddenly 2 outs for the Clovers. That's going to be low for ball number 1. That's low for ball number 2. Josh Wise now. Not that he ever lost his footing, has found it, but now suddenly finds himself down in that count. Zach Lyon at a 3-0 count. Do you swing? Zach Lyon will elect not to, and he will make it to first base. So with 2 outs on the board, Zach Lyon makes it to first base, and Peter Maldonado steps up to the plate.
Lyon with a 2-out walk, brings up your catcher, number 27, Peter Maldonado.
Maldonado has not reached yet. And that first pitch is going to come in for a ball. Now a 1-0 count here. And that's outside for ball number 2. Peter Maldonado working himself up a pretty decent count for himself. Has to stay patient here, though. He'll swing at that one. That's going to left field. And it will be caught. That's going to wrap up the bottom of the 9th. We are heading to extras here. We've got free baseball. Don't go anywhere. You are watching Clayton Clovers baseball. Welcome back into Clayton here. We are in extra innings. We're at the top of the 10th now.
Third baseman number 24, Clayton.
Going with Jalen Greenidge here out of Lincoln University. Matthew Hall remains on the mound here for the Clovers. Hall started off strong, but allowed a few RBI to go, which got the Skippers onto the board and tied up at the top of the ninth as that first pitch comes in a little low for ball number 1. Hall taking his time. That's going to come in for strike number 1, now an even 1-1 count. There are a few things more exciting than some extra innings baseball, especially here in the Old North State League. First extra innings game for the Clovers this season as they look for their first home win here at East Clayton Community Park. And that's a foul tip. Brings it up to a 2-2 count now. And the Clovers looking to get out of this top of the 10th as soon as possible so they can get back to the batter's box. And that's going to be outside. Now a full count here for Jalen Greenidge. And he's going to swing that one foul. What a battle we've got going on here at the top of the 10th between Jalen Greenidge and Matthew Hall. And that's going to be strike 3. First out of the inning here, and first strikeout for Matthew Hall.
Strikeout number 1. Route number 1.
What a great pitch by Matthew Hall. We've got Cole Wagner up next here. 1 out on the board. Nobody on base. This game's going late here on a Friday night. Thank goodness it's a Friday night. Everyone gets to sleep in tomorrow. That's in for strike number 1. No make connection with that ball. Second baseman's got it, and they will deliver. Actually, sorry, shortstop Zoltowski's got it. They'll deliver that to the first baseman for out number 2. And Hunter Sherman steps up. 2 outs on the board, looking to get things going for the Skippers. Had a double the last time he was up at the plate. Got things going for the Skippers at the top of the 9th. And that's going to be outside for ball number 1. Clover's fielding has been spectacular today. That ball is hit towards center field. And that's a great catch by the second baseman, Mike Snyder. And we are going now to the bottom of the 10th. Can the Clovers pull it off, or will we go to more innings? Don't go anywhere. You are watching Clayton Clovers baseball. And welcome back into Clayton here. Who else to lead off in the top of the 10th here than Davey Morgan? Had himself a pretty decent game here for the Clovers. Reached base 3 of the 4 times he's been up to the plate. 2 of them being walks drawn. And that one's going to hit him. And he'll make it to first base right off the bat. What a way to get to first base off the first pitch. And now Mike Snyder stepping up to the plate.
Coming to the plate. Second baseman, number 5, Mike Snyder.
Snyder has the chance here to drive Davey even further. And what a better way, or what could be a better way here for the Clovers to start off. That one's going to be right down the middle for strike number 1. Don't think the staff could have asked for a better lineup to start off this bottom of the 10th than Davey Morgan, followed by Snyder. And that one's going to be fouled deep. Snyder finds himself in an 0-2 count now. Davey Morgan sticking pretty close to first base, not giving himself too much leadoff space. And that's going to be ball number 1, just a tad low. Now Snyder slowly working his way back up in this count while still down. That one's going to be fouled back. Still a 1-2 count here for Snyder against Josh Wise. Wise for his 3rd inning on the mound. And that's going to be inside. Brings it to a 2-2 count. Some chirping coming from both dugouts, both encouraging their guys. That one's roped just foul down the left-hand side. What a better way to start off Mike Snyder's career here with the Clovers. Well, his 2nd season, I should say. Catcher hops up. That first pitch is fouled back. Cloud of dirt following. Still a 2-2 count now. And this has been a battle between Snyder and Wise, neither giving up any ground whatsoever. And that's going to be hit right past the second baseman. Davey Morgan's going to 3rd. Snyder's going to stop at 1st. And now with no outs, suddenly the Clayton Clovers are threatening to score with runners on the corners.
With runners on the corners.
And Jackson Dunlap comes up to the bag. Dunlap with the opportunity here to walk it off in front of his home crowd. And they're going to have a quick meeting with the pitcher. Unclear if they're taking him out or not yet. This is a jam for the Skippers. All the Clovers need is 1 run, and that's the game. It's a long meeting they're having. A lot of things they got to go over. They got some power hitters up next. No outs on the board. What they need desperately right now are strikeouts. Pop flies are not going to cut it.
Coming to the plate, your first baseman, number 32, Jackson Dunlap.
And here comes Jackson Dunlap. Already a hometown favorite, but can do so much more Clayton looking for that first home win. First ball will come in low. And Snyder will very casually just jog over to second. No protests from the catcher or pitcher, even though that could have been an easy out. That's now ball 2. Davey Morgan may be their number one concern, but you got to start getting outs on that board. And that would have been your easiest way of doing it, is now the count as 2-1. Don't really know what they were thinking there, but nonetheless, it is over. The Clovers, runners on second and third, both in scoring position. All they need is one. Dunlap will foul that back, and now the count is even at 2-2. In front of his home crowd, Dunlap will take it on the inside. Good eye. Now a full count here for Jackson Dunlap. Some good chirps coming from the Clayton dugout. And that ball's hit foul. Way to fight by Jackson Dunlap here against Josh Wise. Davey Morgan and Mike Snyder starting things off as expected. Another foul ball. Jackson Dunlap is not letting this pitcher get out easy here in the bottom of the 10th. Tie ball game at 4-4 with 2 runners in scoring position. And here we go. That ball is low. Bases are loaded. Jackson Dunlap's at first. And with no outs on the board, Jackson Anderson is stepping up to the plate.
Number 14, Jackson Anderson.
Jackson Anderson now has the opportunity. Good ball, number 1. Catcher looked for it, but just down the third base line, so nobody tagged up. It required Davey Morgan to come home. That ball's low now for ball number 2. That's going to be a foul tip. 2-1 count here in Clayton, North Carolina. A hit or a walk will win it. A pop fly will win it. But now suddenly with a 3-1 count, Jackson Anderson, if he draws the walk here, will win the game for Clayton. And that ball is popped directly up into the infield. Hall's going to catch it, and that's going to be out number 1 on the board. That's the start the Skippers needed. Bases are still loaded, though. And number 6, Zach Zotolski, steps up to the plate. Zotolski, who already had a 2 RBI single earlier in the night, is 1 for 4. And that first one's hit right down the left side. That's going to be a game winner. Davy Morgan makes it home. Zoltowski wins it for Clayton. And that's the first home win here for the Clayton Clovers. What a way to start your weekend. The Clayton Clovers move up to 2-3 in the Old North State League. What a game. Resilience shown by all sides. Spectacular play both on offense and defense. With that, Clayton Clovers get their first home win. We have another game coming up tomorrow night, a rematch against the Fayetteville Shoots. Do be on the lookout for any announcements following the inclement weather that is forecasted with tomorrow. Thank you for joining us. I am John Loomis, voice of the Clayton Clovers. Thanks for watching. This has been Clayton Clovers Baseball.